You're watching Luntha TV and it's time for our 7:30 news bulletin. My name is Tandy and Zamara. First, the headlines. Leo XIV urges end to war, remembers victims of violence and migration. Vice President Dr. Michael Usi calls for issue-based voting, blasts politics of handouts. Education expert warns candidates on unplanned free secondary education promises. And in other news, Afghanistan earthquake leaves over 800 dead, 205,000 others injured. We have more details of these stories and more. To stay with us. As Russia intensifies its attacks on cities across Ukraine, Pope Leo XIV has reiterated his appeal for an immediate ceasefire and serious efforts on behalf of dialogue. Speaking at the Sunday Angelus, the Pope renewed his closeness to the Ukrainian people, lamenting the continual destruction and death the war has caused. The Holy Father emphasized that the voice of weapons must fall silent and the voice of fraternity and justice prevail. Felicity Zombe is reading a Vatican News report.
Pope Leo urged everyone to avoid succumbing to indifference, but instead to draw near in prayer and concrete actions of charity, reiterating his call for a ceasefire. He noted that it is time for those in power to abandon the logic of weapons and to take up the path of negotiation and peace, with the support of the international community. Switching to English, Pope Leo then prayed for the victims of the shooting at a Catholic school in the U.S. city of Minneapolis, Minnesota. He expressed prayers for the country's children who lose their lives or are injured each day across the globe, urging the faithful to implore God to bring an end to the pandemic of weapons, both large and small, that afflicts the world. Turning to the Blessed Virgin Mary, Queen of Peace, he asked for her intercession in helping humanity realize the vision of the prophet Isaiah, a time when swords are forged into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. Pope Leo XIV also recorded the death of at least 69 people and the nearly 100 still missing off the coast of Mauritania when a vessel carrying migrants capsized. He lamented that such deadly tragedies occur daily across the globe and urged prayers that the Lord would guide both individuals and society to live out his teaching, "I was a stranger and you welcomed me." In closing, the Pope offered prayers for all who have died, entrusting the injured, the missing and the deceased everywhere to the compassionate care of the Savior.
Bishop Peter Adrian Jifugwa of the Dedza Diocese has called on Catholic faithful across Malawi to observe September as the Bible month. Speaking at the official launch held at Bembeke Parish in the Dedza Diocese, Bishop Jifugwa underscored the need for believers to read the Bible regularly and to reflect deeply on its teachings as a guide for daily living. We have more details on this report, followed by Patrick Popper.
The Malawi Conference of Catholic Bishops MCCB set aside the entire month of September as a Bible month with the aim of helping the Catholic faithful deepen their understanding of Scripture, make Bible reading a daily habit, and reflect on its teachings in their lives. Presiding over the launch at Bembeke Parish in the Diocese of Dedza, Bishop Peter Adrian Chifugwa reminded the Catholic faithful to allow God's word to shape our thoughts and actions in our daily lives. emphasizing that it is through his teaching that Christians find guidance. Father Anthony Kanyampageni, Bible coordinator for the Diocese, advised the faithful to also reflect on good leadership ahead of the general elections on 16 September, while they are celebrating the month of the Bible. In addition to launching Bible Month, the Church is also marking the season of creation with the Catholic Development Commission Catechism rolling out activities from 1st September to 4 October 2025. This year's observance is being held under the theme Sowing Seeds of Peace and Hope, a call to care for God's creation. Chimwemwe Sakunda, Catechom's national coordinator, is leading the initiative. The Bible is running under the theme Pilgrims of Hope as the Catholic faithful observe September as Bible Month. They also embrace the season of creation, drawing inspiration from Scripture to care for God's creation and sow seeds of peace and hope.
The Catholic faithful at St. Paul's Parish in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe have been urged to live a life of humility in their daily lives, regardless of their status in society. This message was delivered by Father Dumisa Koswe during the Silver Jubilee celebration of Reverend Father Emmanuel Shigaya at St. Paul's Parish in Kota. Emmanuel Shuocha filed this report.
The celebration, which drew a large gathering of Catholic relatives and Christians, was filled with joy and celebration. The congregation danced and sang to mark the special occasion, a testament to Father Chikaya's dedication and service to the Lord. In his homily, Father Koswe quoted the book of Luke, chapter 14, from verse 1 to 7 up to 11, reminding the congregation of the importance of humility and humbleness in their daily lives. He emphasized that as Christians, it is essential to always take the lowest seat and allow God to honor them. Father Koswe further emphasized the need for the faithful to interact with the poor, crippled, lame, and blind, and to invite them to the banquet. He noted that this is a key aspect of living a life of humility and service to others. The priest cited Father Chikaya as a shining example of humility, humbleness, and love, which has enabled him to reach this milestone in his priestly life. Father Chikaya's Silver Jubilee celebration is a testament to his dedication and commitment to his vocation. The congregation was reminded of the importance of living a life that is pleasing God. The celebration concluded with a renewed sense of purpose and commitment to living a life of humility and service to others. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Juocha.
Mpatso Gwaya of Utadoera Parish in Kawale, under the Diocese of Lilongwe, has unveiled its latest DVD, Udze Ufumu, with a call for church choirs to work together in sharing skills, offering mutual encouragement, and spreading the gospel through music. Speaking to Luntha News during the launch ceremony of the Utadoera Parish grounds in Kawale, the choir's treasurer, Elizabeth Yoramu, described the release of Udze Ufumu as a significant milestone, stressing the value of unity among choirs, noting that collaboration allows groups to exchange skills, inspire one another, and strengthen their mission of evangelization through music. We have more details on this report filed by Gift Kalunga.
Following the sale of the Ufumu Udze album immediately after English and Chichewa Masses, the Utatoera Women Choir, also known as Mpaso Choir, officially launched the album on Sunday, 31st August 2025. Treasurer of Mpaso Choir, Elizabeth Yotam, described the launch of their new album as one of the greatest days of the choir's life. Yotam also said that it was important to come together with fellow choirs during such events to exchange skills and knowledge, observe different singing styles, and encourage one another in serving God and spreading His gospel. Yotam also noted that launching a music album is not easy task, but expressed gratitude that after all their efforts, God had kept them safe and allowed them to celebrate this achievement.
It is very important to be together with our friends during events like this. We exchange skills and knowledge, learn how other choirs sing, and encourage one another because we are all serving God and spreading His gospel.
In a separate interview with Luntha News, chairperson of St. Patrick's Choir 3, Chris Mankambela, highlighted importance of collaboration among choirs. She noted that working together allows choirs within Lilongwe Archdiocese and beyond to glorify God, learn from one another, correct mistakes, and offer mutual encouragement. Mankambela expressed gratitude to Mpaso Choir for inviting them as a guest choir, describing the opportunity as a rare honor.
It is very important for choirs in one diocese to work together through singing. This is to encourage and strengthen our faith and spirituality. So I will encourage all choirs to do the same, and we've also copied the same. We'll do the same in future.
The event united several choirs along with various shadow members of parliament and shadow councillors contesting for the Masinta constituency, fostering unity, mutual learning, and a collective mission of spreading the gospel through music. For Luntha News, this is Gift Kalonga.
Ojazage alibe mlandu Ozam Party president, who is also the country's vice president, Michael Usi, has urged citizens in Karonga to vote with conscience on the 16th of September and reject politicians who offer handouts in exchange for support, saying the time has come for Malawians to elect leaders based on performance and integrity. Speaking on Monday during whistle-stop rallies across the district, OC said every citizen lives independently, especially considering that most Malawians work hard to fend for themselves without government support. Charity Chilanka has more details on this report.
In his remarks, OC expressed a concern that the northern region continues to lag behind in development despite having many educated and intelligent people, blaming poor leadership and patronage-based politics for the stagnation. Reflecting on the past, he recorded that during the Kamuzubanda era, ministers were appointed to oversee regional development and there was a stronger sense of accountability. Drawing from his 26 years of international experience, Usi said in functioning democracies, citizens can visibly see what their leaders have accomplished, and leaders don't need to explain. The vice president clarified that while some achievements have been made by the current administration, the worsening economic situation cannot be ignored.
Ine ndimaenda ndeka ndikupita kwa kumana ndi anthu ndikuwaona chipatala agona potani kodi kumuzikofola nyumba mwamo agona potani adya chani ndiye umadziwa munthu kuti umudziwa kuti munthu ali bwanji umuyendere. Ife tili ndi vuto akupipando timakhala ngati kuti azungu timakhala ngati ife azungu tili patali ndi anthu. Koma ndifuna ndikusimikizira kuti odya zache alibe mlandu mukasankha pa 16 pano nkhani siya matama kuti ife a president ayi nkhani ndiyo tiyang'ani.
Among other things, Usi warned that Malawi has fallen into a cave of poverty, noting how some people benefit from the National Economic Empowerment Fund, NEF, while others are sidelined. He also pointed to rising commodity prices and questioned what the situation will look like in another 5 years if nothing changes. Usi reiterated Ozam's mission to restore order and fairness, saying the party will recover government property wrongly taken by individuals. He condemned nepotism in public service hiring, saying only those with connections are getting jobs while others continue to struggle. He concluded by calling on voters to choose leaders not based on tribal party, but on values and performance, and to begin punishing underperforming politicians through the ballot.
Renowned education expert Benedict Ogondoe has urged presidential aspirants to avoid making public pledges on free secondary education without presenting concrete implementation plans. Ogondoe, who is also Civil Society Education Coalition CSEC Executive Director, has cautioned that while the promise is popular among candidates, Malawi's past experience with the free primary education demonstrates the risks of introducing such policies hastily without adequate planning and resources. We have more details on this report filed by Judith Organ and read in our studios by Gift Kalunga.
Ogondoe explained that despite the introduction of free education in 1994, hidden costs remained and government failed to provide a guiding framework to ensure quality. He stressed that repeating the same approach at secondary school level could lead to another crisis. He added that any candidate making such pledge must go beyond campaign rhetoric and show Malawians how they will generate the resources required to sustain free secondary education. Ogondoe emphasized that promises alone are not enough, saying that what Malawians need to see is political will, a convincing roadmap, and proper resourcing to ensure that promise of free secondary education does not become just another campaign tool, but a reality that improves the quality of education in the country.
Our view is that almost all the candidates, the majority of the candidates are talking about introduction of free secondary education because we have already had free primary education since 1994. Though in practice, we haven't had free primary education because of the hidden costs that students pay. Now, for any candidate who desires to implement free secondary education, I think it has to go beyond podium pronouncements. There is need for concrete commitment and political will from the leaders.
Several political parties, including Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, and its electoral ally, the Alliance for Democracy, AFORD, have pledged to abolish tuition and development fees for all secondary school students if elected.
Gift Kalunga reading that report filed by Judith Organ. Remember that you're watching news coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center, and today with me, Tandy Wenzumara. We'll be back with more right after this short break.
Mwaswera Grace.
Ndaswera kai maive.
Mwagula mabuku kodi?
Ayi ndabwereka ku library.
Kodi yako ni secondary school so mmatha kugwiritsa ntchito library ya school?
Ndichina chilichonse tu. Library, labu ya science, ya ICT, komanso maphunziro amakono apa phone, tablet, computer ndi digital learning. Timagwiritsa ntchito notesmaster.com. Ndi chimodzimodzi lophunzira aliyense wa ku secondary school ya boma.
Izi zinthu ndiye zosangalatsa. Maphunziro apamwamba ndithu. Aiviri bajasana sankhidwe ndini madankhawa kuti kodi kadi ndipanga bwanji.
Ife tonse amene tinakhonza mayeso a 8 koma sitinasankhidwe kupita ku secondary, munasiyira sukulu ya secondary panjira, kapena mukufuna kutsitsa mapoints, dziwani kuti unduna wa maphunziro a primary ndi secondary unakhazikitsa maphunziro a open secondary schools ngati njira imodzi yowonjezera mwayi wa maphunziro apamwamba kudzera msukulu za secondary za m'madera athu kumene kuli aphunzitsi odziwa ntchito yawo bwino komanso zipangizo zapamwamba zoyenera pa maphunziro. Musazengereze, kalembetseni lero ku open secondary school ya mdera lanu kuti mupeze maphunziro apamwamba.
Uthengawu akukupatsirani ndi aunduna wa maphunziro aku primary ndi secondary kudzera ku Equals Project ndi thandizo la ndalama lochokera ku World Bank.
Welcome back. Before we proceed with the news, let's have another look at the headlines. Pope Leo XIV urges end to war, remembers victims of violence and migration. Vice President Dr. Michael Usi calls for issue-based voting, blasts politics of handouts. Education expert warns candidates on unplanned free secondary education promises. And in other news, Afghanistan earthquake leaves over 800 dead, 205,000 others injured. Proceeding with the news, a total of 115 pallets containing parliamentary election ballot papers for 108 constituencies arrived at Kamuzu International Airport in Lilongwe on Monday. Malawi Electoral Commission MAG Chairperson Justice Annabel Mtalimanja said this is the first consignment, with additional shipments expected between the 4th and the 16th of September 2025. Representing the double opposition Democratic Progressive Party DPP, Magford Somanje, expressed hope that make will maintain transparency in handling the ballot papers. As our reporter Robert Edward explains, officers from the Malawi Defense Force, MDF, and the police will guard the warehouse where the materials are stored until the day of dispatch.
The noise in my background is the sound of the Astro aircraft, that's the cargo aircraft that carried 115 pallets containing the ballot papers for 108 constituencies. These are ballot papers for the parliamentary elections. Now it is beginning to take off from the Kamuzu International Airport, going back after dropping all the ballot papers that have been brought here in Malawi. The chairperson of the commission led the delegation of police officers, the army officers, the political party representatives into the warehouse where all the ballot papers are going to be kept until other consignments come, and all of them are going to be dispatched to different constituencies for voting on 16 September 2025. We spoke to one of the representatives of the political parties, Magford Somanje, representing the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, and he says so far so good. He only hopes that the transparency in the process continues. According to Malawi Electoral Commission Chairperson Justice Annabel Mtalimanja, the Commission has made the process to be as transparent as possible so that it clears all doubts, at least by the political party representatives. Currently, both political parties and independent candidates representatives are here at the Kamuzu International Airport to witness the arrival, and they are also going to witness the ballot papers being put into the warehouse, waiting for the day of dispatch. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Now, in other news, the confirmed death toll from Sunday's earthquake in eastern Afghanistan has risen to over 800, according to figures provided by the Taliban government on Monday. The number of people injured has risen to about 2,500. Authorities say numerous villages have also been destroyed. The 6.0 magnitude quake late Sunday hit towns in the province of Kunar, near the city of Jalabad in neighboring Naganga province, causing extensive damage. Fales Chizombe is reading an African News Report.
The quake at 2347 was centered 27 kilometers east-northeast of the city of Jalabadi in Nagar province. The U.S. Geological Survey said it was just 8 kilometers deep. Shallower quakes tend to cause more damage. Several aftershocks followed. Footage showed rescuers taking injured people on stretchers from collapsed buildings and in 2 helicopters as people frantically dug through rubble with their hands. A Taliban government spokesman, Zaibullah Mujahid, said at a press conference Monday that the death toll had risen to 800 with 2,500 injured. He said that most of the casualties were in Kunar province. Buildings in Afghanistan tend to be low-rise constructions, mostly of concrete and brick, with homes in rural and outlying areas made from mud bricks and wood. Many are of poor construction. One resident in Nagar district one of the worst affected areas in Kunar, said nearly the entire village was destroyed. Eastern Afghanistan is mountainous with remote areas. The quake has worsened communications. Rescue operations were underway and medical teams from Kunar, Nagar and the capital Kabul have arrived in the area, said Shalafati Zaman, a health ministry spokesperson. Zaman said many areas had not been able to report casualty figures and that the numbers were expected to change as deaths and injuries are reported. The Taliban government's chief spokesperson Zaibullah Mujahid said all available resources will be utilized to save lives. Nearby Jalabadi is a bustling trade city due to its proximity with neighboring Pakistan and a key border crossing between the countries. Although it has a population of about 300,000, according to the municipality, its metropolitan area is thought to be far large. Jalabadi also has considerable agriculture and farming, including citrus fruits and rice, with the Kabul River flowing through the city.
And that's about what we had time for in this edition of our news bulletin. But before you go, here's a reminder of the headlines. Pope Leo XIV urges end to war, remembers victims of violence and migration. Vice President Dr. Michael Usi calls for issue-based voting, blasts politics of handouts. Education expert warns candidates on unplanned free secondary education promises. And in other news, Afghanistan earthquake leaves over 800 dead, 205,000 others injured. My name is Tandio Mzamara. Thank you for keeping me company, and do continue following the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. And remember that you can also follow us on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook at Luntha Television, and on YouTube we are at Luntha TV Official. Goodbye for now, and do stay safe.